What is going on, Twitch land, YouTube land, anyone out there in internet land? I certainly appreciate you tuning in. If you're coming to check out this episode of what we're going to be doing with our best friend ChatGPT, right? We're working on our account management system. So if you were following along earlier this morning or even yesterday, right, we've gone through what we were going to do for artifacts, and we were able to seed our metadata spreadsheet with our refined and curated artifact list that we were able to build with the assistance of ChatGPT. If you did not catch that, there is a video showing exactly what we did to get that result. That's up on my YouTube channel, as well as posted. Well, actually, it's not yet on my YouTube channel, but it will be. It will be posted on my Twitch. As always, I'm always here for any kind of questions you may have. If you're trying to follow along at home, feel free to reach out. So bear with me as we get going. Today's goal is going to simply be, one second, is going to simply be updating our character roster list, right? That was one of the first things we did. And check this out, like what we did in the initial seeding was take a bunch of screenshots and upload batches and type back and forth and make sure that the engine stayed kind of between the guardrails that we had set up. Bear with me 1 second. I need to get my admin console going on my phone. Hold on, please. There I am. Okay, so if you're following along at home and you have any questions about the process, or you would like to ask my GPT model that is aware of the contextual information needed to make smart decisions for my account, you know, if you want to see any of that, we can certainly ask it any questions. But let's save that until after we achieve our goal, which is simply going to be updating the character list that we have in our spreadsheet. So if we go to our file sources, now again, if you are not familiar with what we're doing here, this is a project within ChatGPT. I have a video showing how to set all that up. Feel free to go check it out. That's not in the scope of this video, but this is where we store our metadata, right? So our most current version is this V12, and there's tons of information in here if you've never seen the spreadsheet, but the main thing we're looking at is the character sheet. So one thing I want to be clear about, if you have not followed along with this and your first time seeing this, is I did not type this in, right? Like all of this information, this was all done by GPT, and the interface that we used to give it the information it needed to populate this spreadsheet was batches of screenshots. And we're going to modify that process to make it repeatable and easier. And in the future, if anybody's interested, I'll even show you how to automate it. But we're not quite there yet, folks. You know, we're just trying to start small and build out from there. Rome wasn't built in a day. We're not going to build this entire system today. We're just going to focus on this one particular aspect. So let's get back to what we're trying to do. Now, this is going to be like a live workshop, right? I have not like done the work ahead of time to, you know, seed any kind of prompt or practice with the prompt, or you know, try and see what kind of results I'm going to get. We're going to be doing this, you know, exactly how I would do it if I were doing it just for myself. But, you know, we're doing it for everybody. So here's just a quick refresher. You know, we did do an initial load, right? Like if you've been with me for that long, you know that I was able to give it that initial load. I said, hey dog, here's 4 screenshots that show all my characters. Populate that spreadsheet and let's do this shit. And it did it, right? So good job, GPT. That's what we like to see. We're going to do that same thing, but we're going to refine it a little bit. So we're going to start a new thread, and one of the things we like to go over is how to write efficient prompts, right? Like prompting is a critical skill when it comes to getting valid information out of these AI large language models, these LLMs, right? Your favorite chat assistant can certainly go off the rails, and we try and stop and show some of the ways you can keep it between the ditches, or so to speak. So let's keep that in mind. And one thing I will show you that helps with that is I have an instructions file that is in our source collection. And I'll let you read those for a little bit. But the point I'm making is, like, these are types of rules that you would want to set in the type of thread that we're about to create. And I don't have to create those rules now because I've created this instructions.txt file. And if you go to this thread where we look at instructions reference, I say custom instructions. Please always refer to instructions.txt for rules on how to process every thread in this project unless specified otherwise. And it's like Roger Dodger, let's do that, right? So whenever I get new instructions, I come to this thread, or whenever I decide to add a new instruction, I come to that thread and update it. So I said all that to say, instead of having to type all of the, hey, you're an expert at Epic 7 and use the current meta and blah, 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 blah. Like, it already knows all that. So we're just going to say this thread will actually, no. Okay, so remember, I'm doing this live, so you're going to see me, like, pivot different directions at times because random neurons firing in my brain tell me that I need to try something else. But I'm going to try my best to not see a ton of squirrels, and we'll just go forward with what we were trying to do. So this thread will serve as so now I am I'm doing it actually. So check this out. Like, we are going to do the update, right? That's our goal, but we want to build a repeatable interface mechanism within the context of our project so that when we do this in the future, we don't have to think about a prompt. We don't have to think about how to ingest the data, right? So the specific goal of this thread we're doing right now is how to create what's called a skill. Now, we all got skills, fool. I know that, right? But what I'm talking about is an actual skill, like, proper noun, I guess you would say, whatever. But so that is simply an object within your GPT model that it now knows how to do. It's a custom set of instructions that you tell it, whenever you say, go do skill named whatever whatever, it's going to do the instructions that you gave that skill. I know that was very rambly, and it will become apparent, as we go through it, but I'm just trying to, illuminate what we're trying to do here. Once we have created the skill, we're going to use the skill. So, once again, a skill is just a simple instruction set that is reusable. Test bed for us to create a GPT skill that we will use and refine over time. And I'm specifically saying that for a reason, right? Like, these words that I type in these prompts, I'm not just like trying to be like flowery language or, make some bloated anything, right? Like, every single thing I'm saying in here has a purpose. And whenever I say and refine over time, what I'm conveying to this mechanism is that I want it to be able to morph over time. I don't want it to be a static thing that we create that we're suddenly locked into this world of rigidity, right? We want to be able to be fluid and expand that as needed. So we will use and refine over time. to ingest character roster information from screenshots taken with of the Epic 7 clients summary view of characters. Provide your understanding of what we will do, and then I will provide a sample screenshot for you to parse so that we can make sure the skill provides accurate, that's not how you spell that, accurate results. How's that sound, y'all? Let's see what we get. Okay, so I'll take this opportunity. I do like GPT notifications, honestly. I'm not a notification guy, but like the active processing it does in the background is pretty impressive. Like I could minimize this and okay, so I don't have to, whatever, we'll get back to what I was saying. It has done what we asked it to do, which is it's restating what we're telling it. We're establishing a contract with it, right? We are making sure that I told it to do X, Y, and Z, and it says, yes, I will do X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't say, yes, I will do Y, Z, and X, right? From character summary, reliably extract, the current master workbook already treats it as canonical and investment. Yes, so it's making the clarification there, right? If I can highlight whatever, right here, it already treats the character sheet as the canonical roster and investment tracker, which is a true statement. So what it's clarifying there is that it's going to essentially do a difference, right? I mean, whatever, I'm not going to get into technical shenanigans. It's going to update our metadata with the difference, right? We're not simply plopping a new set of rows onto the bottom of a spreadsheet. We are literally going to have it say, oh, here's Bossarunka. Whenever I last ingested this data, Bossarunka was 5 stars and 3-star awakened and level 43. But now that I see Bossarunka, she's 6 stars and 6-star awakened and level 60. So I need to update the record for Bossarunka, right? We're not going to end up with 2 different Bossarunka records. So the workflow it expects is, yes, I'm going to give it the sample. It's going to extract these fields. We're good with the fields. I'm going to review, and we gradually turn it into a skill. The final skill should make future Rust updates repeatable. Yep. So I'm looking to see. Yeah, prior, and it's good for it to call this out because this is something that I've been careful to make sure it understands that whenever you're looking at these character panels, and you'll see what I mean here, I'll go show you exactly what I mean. Let's fire up the client. When you're looking at this character panel, and if you're not familiar, oh my God, all the pop-ups, come on guys. If you're not familiar with the view I'm trying to show you right now, well, now you know. There's this little button right here, like it's glowing. I'm tapping on it, right? If you tap on it, you get a very condensed view of all of your characters, right? This is the basis for our data ingestion, and this is what we're going to provide a sample screenshot of. So we take said screenshot. We're not going to modify it in any way. We're going to go back to the ChatGPT interface, and we're going to say, thanks, that is accurate. Let's proceed with the sample ingestion, you guys. We got that. Once you provide the answers, nope, the results I will review and approve. Then we will commence with Ask Hickory with creating the skill. Okay. And let's add said screenshot. We got you right, Mia. Come on now. All right, so let's see what it comes back with. And what I was starting to say whenever I had seeded this prompt, and I'll have time to say now because it's going to take a little bit more time to do what we're asking it to do, is that you would be doing yourself a favor if you were to watch the GPT engine think, right? That's what it's doing right now. That's what all of that flashing text is. You're seeing the thought, quote unquote, process it's going through. Now, I'm going to put an asterisk on that statement because you will see it say some stuff that is asinine, and that doesn't mean that it's going to run with that information. It's really kind of a vibe thing, right? Like you have to get to understand the context of what you're asking it and what you kind of expect the output to be, right? But what the point I'm actually trying to make is while you're watching it think, if you see it go off the rails, before you get to that level where you're going to be making those judgment calls, where you're going to let it kind of continue thinking down that rogue path, or potentially ignore that rogue path because you know it's going to, just set yourself a rule that says if you're watching it think and it starts to just spew some nonsensical BS in its thought process, just hit the stop button down in the chat box down at the bottom and either go and edit the prompt to clarify or just send a new prompt. But it's a way to save yourself some time because you can actually run into scenarios, right, where you let it crunch on whatever effort you're trying to have it go through. And this isn't native to this project, I'm saying in general with GPT usage. And you come back to it and you expect this wonderful answer and it decided that blue was red all of a sudden. And your answers mean nothing, right? And then you've wasted the time that you thought you were going to be letting it give you accurate information. So it's definitely crunching. You can tell that it sees some potential issues. One of the things I wanted to call out and that I was saying that I was glad that it highlighted is if you look at Afternoon Soak Flan up here, right, top right, so her stars bleed into her portrait and it can trip up on that sometimes. So I set a rule for it to note that whenever stars are merged with the portrait of the character, be careful and make sure you can distinguish between unawakened stars, total stars, and awakening stars, and get the accurate values. So it is aware of that. It is working through that. It's going to take a quick minute or a slow minute for it to, chunk this sample. So while it's doing that, we're going to take advantage of, once again, the background processing that it offers up, and we'll just go mess around with our account a little bit. I was curious about my Salome. I've been having fun with my PvP team on here. Now, I mean, I'm only playing Flag Arena football right now, so it's not like I'm in RTA, but I'm looking forward to getting there because this account has definitely had some good pulls, but I'm curious how fast I can get her. .17 speed, that's about the best I can do on weapons, y'all. I mean, again, remember, this is an alt account, right? This is not like my main account. We are using the process that we're building to grow this account. So it is going to be very much limited to what it has available, right? Which in some cases is not a pretty picture, and that's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there, y'all. Let's go check on our processing. So it didn't send me the notification. That's a bad iPad. Bad iPad. But anyway, we can see that it pulled 24 rows, which is what we expected. We can see that it starts with Akate and ends with Cartusia. So if we go back and we look at them, right, that's good. Now here's where you can do some quick spot checks, right? Because like I've done this enough to know that to know which ones I need to check specifically. Like I know I need to check Angelica. I know I need to check Afternoon Soaked Flan. Probably need to check Bloodblade Karen, because it's funny. Her picture actually looks like she's sticking a rod through the stars. That's pretty funny. Anyway, probably have it check Pt1. So my point is, though, the first thing I want to do is you can just look at that top row and go, you need 4, 3, 3, 6 stars, right? And then if you look at what it said, it's 4, 3, 3, 6 stars, right? You know, here and down to here, down to here, right? And you can kind of walk down, just, you know, switch back and forth. That's just if you want to do like, that was the wrong thing, but whatever. That's if you want to do like the full verification. I'm just gonna like look at the ones that I know that it could stumble on, and it got ASF right, and it did it get Angelica right? I think Angelica's 5-star. We might have to fix her. No, she is 6-star. Look, GPT knows my account better than I do. Haha. Anyway, so got Angelica right. Pt1, that one's good. BBK. Now BBK, wasn't she 4-star? Isn't that what we saw? Yeah, so see, it thought BBK's hand right there was a star. So that's exactly, you know, the type of thing you want to look out for. So we'll say Bloodblade Karen. Right. Now let me be clear, like we're not ingesting the data right now, right? We are building a skill. So like it's okay if it's wrong. We are getting it to understand better what it's trying to do, right? So you're going to see where we re-upload the picture, where we wait for it to crunch, where we have to like wait for it to do this and wait for it to do that. That is not what the end product is going to be. I want to be very clear that we understand that, right? The end result of this is simply going to be an instruction command that you'll be able to go into a thread and say, hey, run this command named look at my freaking characters and do some shit .command, right? And then it's going to know exactly what you're asking it to do. So let's get back to what we're trying to do. And we say that Bloodblade Karen is only 4 stars, so we were checking her. Was there anyone else I wanted to check? Was there anybody else, y'all? Tell me, please, somebody. No, I think that was about it. So let's just go with that correction. That's the only correction I see needed. Adjust your analysis processes logic to account for that visual distortion. It looks like you counted her hand as a star. So let's see what it comes back with. good catch. So, yep, we're good. Star count rule adjustment. When counting stars, only count distinct gold, red star icons aligned in the star band after the level. Ignore bright portrait. Yep. So it set itself a good rule there. If a possible star is not the same size, color, shape, and baseline alignment as the other stars, do not count it. That is a very valuable instruction for it to understand. I'm actually going to steal that. Let's go add that to our instructions set. Actually, I'm going to have to do that later because honestly, it's a pain in the behind. Oh my God, go away. To do it on my iPad. So let's get back to the lecture at hand. Okay, ingestion looks good. Let's be sure we understand the following requirements for, wow, that's not even a word. Requirements for the skill. And just in case you're wondering, y'all, I don't actually talk out loud whenever I'm typing and not on stream. But you get my stream of conscious, so here we go. So the following requirements, because requirements are very important. Be able to accept multiple images as input and understand that a image of character panels can contain less than 24 characters in the case of the final image. Okay, and then we also wanted to say something. Dang it, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Just looks good. Be sure we understand the following requirements for the skill. Be able to accept multiple images as input is very important. There was another thing that was very important though, and that was, what was it? That's what it was. This skill, and like I said, it knows that it's doing an update, right? It's not going to do an append, but it never hurts to be extra explicit. So this skill is to update an existing roster sheet, the sheet named characters in the source master. And if you don't know what I just did there, that is a keyword that we have set that the entire project is aware of. Whenever I use master like that, it knows go to the file named e7 underscore master underscore metadata underscore v.1.xlsx or whatever it's actually called, but I don't want to have to type all that BS out, and I want it to go to a specific version of the file. So the sheet name characters in the source master. This goes to update an existing roster sheet. And is to accommodate typical data ingestion processes such as CRUD. I don't know if I want to get that. So like that's like a that just stands for, that's like a data ingestion term, but it's like create, refresh, update, and delete or something like that. Oh, create, read, update, and delete. But we're not gonna. So we gave it the explicit instruction that it is an Epic 7 expert. We did not give it the explicit instruction that it is a SQL developer. So we're not going to depend on SQL keywords or methodologies. We are going to just spell out, it should include processes such as create, update, read, and delete. Okay, so let's start there. If you're following along at home, feel free, drop in chat. Any questions you have, I'm certainly more than happy to answer. Okay, understand these as core requirements for the skill. The skill we're building should not parse just a single screenshot. It should support a full raster ingestion, yep, and the skill will instruct visible, yep, can reconcile, yep. Produce safe update plan before modifying anything, yes indeed. Multiple image input, so it should process, yep, in that order. It should parse, yep, left to right, top to bottom, you got it. The output should pervert, yep, I do like it to preserve that information. Images may not contain, or may contain fewer than, yeah, must not assume every, that is the guideline I set. Yeah, and see, it's even saying right here, like flag suspicious mid-batch short images only if the user expected a full capture set. So like if you accidentally upload the end of your roster set, it's going to let you know. So this skill updates the existing character sheet in master. Yep, that's exactly right. And it's making sure that the contract we are creating is explicit in what it means by create and read and update and delete. So we do like that. This is good stuff, y'all. Hope you're learning something. If not, hope you're just enjoying some good vibes. We're chilling on vacation and just hanging out. Delete. So this one needs extra safety. Yes, it does. Thank you. Since screenshots only show what is visible in the captured batch, and now we never said anything about whether or not we were sending a list of all characters or filtered characters. So it did not assume that the list that the skill will consume is actually your entire list of characters. And I was slowing down my speaking as I was talking like this because I was thinking through, like, that's actually not a bad thing, right? Like, what if you want to just, like, and honestly, like, that's ideal for what we're trying to do. We want to ingest a subset of characters. So, like, with this new skill, what we're going to do is go to our characters, and we're going to sort by acquired, by acquisition date. And we're going to go and we're going to find the last character that was added to the rows of the initial data seeding. And we're only going to capture the records that are newly... No, okay, scratch that, record scratch, right? Because if you think about it, we can't actually... That's false logic, right? You got to be careful. I'll take this opportunity to once again reiterate the adage, garbage in, garbage out, so make sure you are feeding it good data, because we almost fell into a trap there. I almost allowed us to fall into a trap there. If you were to do that, if you were to make that your update process, because like I'll do my main account like maybe every couple weeks or so, just depending on how squirrely I'm feeling, and that's just a lazy Saturday morning for me where I'll, fire up my favorite Netflix show or YouTube reactor and just knock it all out on my tablet. These types of repeatable skills are going to make that just like a whole lot easier. And I don't think that was the actual point I was trying to make, but whatever. I'm rambling at this point. Let's move on. The point I was trying to make was that it was actually saying, I'm sorry. I did get back to my point. So we can't depend on that because that excludes records or of characters that we've done work on. So earlier, Bossarunka went from a level 43 to a level 60, for example. Sorting by acquired would not actually show that. So let's scratch that idea. There are edge cases where you would want to do it that way or could do it that way, but those aren't going to be in the scope of this video. We can get into that type of stuff in the future. But what it's saying is he doesn't want to have wholesale ability to just straight up delete a row from the spreadsheet. And that's a very important thing, right? it's saying I would prefer the skill to stage deletes as one of these safer actions. And on my main account, that's exactly how I've had this work, right? He wants to propose deletion or mark them in some other manner. So we're going to propose deletion. Additional logic learned from the sample screenshot. Only count distinct star icons of icon with the star row. Do not count overlapping portrait elements such as, right, well, we did learn that. Receive master workbook and one or more roster screenshots. Parse all fully visible. Produce a preview table. Identify, wait, reconcile, produce. See, that's funny. It actually used CRUD. Anyway, wait for approval again. Yep. That's the right structure for this because bad image parsing should never silently mutate the roster. One key requirement to confirm before we build for delete. Yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. The skill should mark the record for delete, not actually delete. And then we're going to say one small correction that I noticed from its textual kind of streamlined walkthrough of the skill. I'm not providing a recent copy of the workbook. The skill will, okay, let's do this. Let's get, this is where the programmer in me comes out. I have to do this. So say default, yeah, your default contract will not expect a recent copy of master. Now I have a song stuck in my head that I'm not going to sing because I'd probably get copyright struck. Will not expect a recent copy of master. If a, not hollering at you, dog, if a spreadsheet is attached, it will be considered the source of truth that will eventually update master. But it won't always be attached, so you can't depend on it. Further, so we're essentially what we're doing is what in programming parlance you would call an optional parameter, but it won't always be attached, so you can't depend on it. So further, there was something I wanted to say. Whatever, we'll just rock that. And if we run into a problem, I'm trying to envision the output. Yeah, there we go. Further, the update to master will never occur from the skill. It will always be an explicit instruction from me. All right, so let's adjust the guardrails there. So by default, the skill is an ingestion and reconciliation assistant, not a workbook writer. Nice clarification. All right, I think it's getting there. No spreadsheet attached. Should be limited to ingestion. Should not pretend to know whether each row... Oh, okay, so no, you don't understand. No, you're... And actually, I don't think I explicitly said this. Oh yeah, we are in the project. Misunderstanding me. If a spreadsheet is not supplied, you are to use master that is found in the projects sources. This skill will only be used in this project. That's not even a word. POGXDN is like, yeah, I don't know what you're trying to say there, man. So let's see what it comes back with. I'm curious if it's gonna be like, well, skills can't actually do that. And I'll be like, son of a... Got it, thank you. Yes, it will only be used inside this project. If it's attached, use that. If no, use its master. Yep, got that. Exactly, thank you. So this is where you have to be careful, right? This is why we are going through this. Remember, we are building something, right? We're not... This exercise we're going through right now is not a simple, let's update our data, let's ask GPT some questions. We are actually building a set of instructions that it's going to be repeating for us in the future. So, should not fall back to ingestion only. Yep, won't write automatically. It'll propose. We have a good contract for CRUD, including a needs review. Delete rule finalized, mark for delete, not delete row. That's fine. So corrected workflow. Damn it, you still got it wrong. Oh yeah, no, that's screenshots, yeah. Skill parse is fully visible, if supplied otherwise uses master. Okay. Alright. Sounds great, let's do it. Great. Let's lock the skill in. We're almost there, y'all. Almost there. Anybody who's been hanging out the whole time, I do certainly appreciate it. I always like hanging out with you folks. So let's see what it's thinking. So see, it was referencing the instructions file, trying to figure out what tool. Let's go let it do its thing for a minute. So actually we can just go and grab the screenshots we're gonna need. Might as well, right? So that's one screenshot, 2 screenshot, 3 screenshot, 4 screenshot. Now, realize I'm committing the mortal sin of, and 5 screenshot, of not having cleaned my characters up. Notice I've got like multiple lots right here. I guess I cleaned most of them up. Multiple Ezras. Just a few I picked up today, whatever, in my free 10-pack summon. So make sure you clean your roster before you ingest. Otherwise, you just end up with a bunch of rows that you're going to delete anyway. But we got our screenshots. Locked and packaged. Skill now includes multi-image roster ingestion, partial final image handling, fully visible. These are all features of our skill. We could like package this and it'd be all fancy, huh? Back window, attached spreadsheet, character sheet reconciliation, CRUD style, preview actions. Okay, so it has given us this file, skill.zip. And that's what we have to use now. So I don't like, at the end of the day, this is a text file. I think that's all that it has in it. Let's see. Problem is, like, I don't want to show the file interface on this stream just because it's got personal info and stuff on it. So I think, let's see. I think it's only that one text file, so we're going to do this. And create a skill with these instructions. Yep, says I need to create the actual skill. This will involve packaging the code. Okay, so interesting. It's gonna generate another zip file. I wonder if we, or to save the zip file in our sources and then we just reference the zip when we want to call the skill. Let's figure this out. Like I said, we're working through this process. Okay, so it did the same thing. That's fine. So what the F do I do endo with the zip file to use it in the iOS Chat GPT app? Yep, don't unzip it, open it, tap your profile settings, skills, choose new skills. Okay. Let me see something real quick. I don't know if there's a way for me to pause my stream just while I do this. Yeah, I think that does it. Maybe not. Sorry, guys. One of the tags I often run with is noob streamer because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So sorry, I'm just debating. Let's see, I'm gonna look it up. It's riveting stuff, right, guys? Let's see. Tap the video, it will toggle between play. Well, that's not what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah, I just don't think it's possible to do that. So, I'm gonna just have to stop the stream real quick, and I'm gonna install the skill. You can see like the instructions right there is all it's saying is I'm gonna go to my settings and I'm going to install it, and then I'll just start the stream back up. There's reasons, so please forgive me. I'll be right back, y'all.